Hey guys, it's Kara because I can't find my Ivy and Bean book. We're gonna start reading Harry Potter. If you are under the age of let's say 7, I don't suggest listening because at the end of this book it does get a little spooky and scary. But let's get started. I'm not gonna read the blurb though. So let's just get started on this book, Harry Potter. Don't know anything about these books. Harry Potter is a boy that his parents die when he's like a baby by a bad wizard named Voldemort. He goes to live with his aunt and uncle that are really rude to him. He sleeps in a cupboard under the staircase. They have a boy named Dudley too. So he has like the worst life. But then he goes to a school called Hogwarts and he is fine. He loves Hogwarts. It's better than the Dursleys' house. So, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal things. Very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be invited to any strange or mysterious because they just didn't hold with such a nursery. Mr. Dursley was a definition of firm. He called, I don't know really this word because these books are a little hard to read. Gunnings, which may dirt. Dirties? I don't know. That's a weird word. I can't read all the words in this book. It's kind of hard to read. He was big, beefy man with hardly any neck. Though he did have he was very large and muscular. Mrs. Dursley was thin and bony and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much time of her time climbing over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley. In their option, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret of their greatest fear was somebody would discover it. There's not any pictures in this book. Here's a picture. I think it's Harry or Dudley. Looking at him, let's see. That's Harry because he has a lightning scar. See right here? You can't really see, but when Voldemort tried to destroy his parents, he couldn't destroy Harry. All that was left on Harry was a little lightning scar right on his forehead. They didn't think they couldn't dare it anymore if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter and Mr. Dursley Mrs. Potter and Mrs. Dursley sisters, but when they had met for several years, in fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister because my sister had a good for nothing, and somewhere in as Dursleys, as they promised to be, the Dursleys shouted to think the neighbors would see if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they had never seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They did not want Dudley mixing with a child like that. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley woke up on a dull gray Tuesday. Our story stars there was nothing about cloudy skies outside to signify. I don't know. Where am I? One sec. Dursley shouted. I think the neighbors would say if the Potters arrived in the street. When Mr. and Mrs. Dursley woke up on a gray Tuesday, or stars with nothing about clouds outside, studied a strange and mysterious things would soon happening all around the country. Mr. Dursley hummed as he picked out his most boring type word. Mrs. Dursley gasped happily as she wheeled a screaming Dudley into his high chair. None of them noticed a large tiny owl fluttering past the window. At 8:30, Mr. Dursley picked up his briefcase, missing because Dudley was now a Herman, so on he cereal and dogs like little sure said Mr. Dursley as he left the house into the back of number 4 Privet Drive. It was that corner of the street he noticed the first sign that something peculiar. A cat reading a map for a second. Mr. Dursley realized that it had then reached his head around to looking again. He was a tabby cat swinging in the corner of Privet Drive, but once the map sign. I'm just gonna read that much because I know these chapters are really long in Harry Potter. Whoa, that's how much longer until the chapter is done. So I'm gonna stop here. In the next video, we'll continue I had to go get a bookmark for me finding. Found a little case of bookmarks. Yeah, that's kind of blinding them. Now let me open this so I can get a bookmark. I tried this down. I put it in. This is very loose, so I had to do something to keep it tight. Then it always takes a while to open it. There we go. Whew. So guys, I don't think the Dursleys would be nice to live with. But it's kind of strange. But in this book is actually called Harry Potter and the Secret Stone. The Elixir of Life. Hint, hint. So basically the story is based on Harry's first year going to Hogwarts. So he takes the train, meets some new friends, Neville, Hermione, and Ron. Ron is like one of 18. Not 18, but a lot. So, and then when they get to Hogwarts, they go and, they go to their doors. There's 4 doors. Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, and Griffin. Wait, I forget. There's Gryffindor, which Harry is in, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw. Harry, Hermione, and Ron, and Neville are all in the same one, Gryffindor. But if you go to Slytherin, you'll usually end up like Voldemort. And Voldemort was in Slytherin when he went to Hogwarts. But there's this kid, I forget his name. This really naughty bully. So weird. And he goes to detention like every day. And detention is the worst. They go to a really haunted forest. It's really crazy. Oof. So that's kind of what book 1's about. They try to, and then Voldemort tries, but then Voldemort does something where he can't have his own body. So he lived in someone's body, which is Professor Quirrell, I think. And so Professor Quirrell, to get to the Elixir of Life, which is a stone, Voldemort needs a stone to grow his own body, but he's really bad. So Harry, Hermione, and Ron try to stop him. But Neville tried to stop them before, so Hermione had to cast a spell on him. It was funny. So yeah. And then there's this guy named Snape, with Professor Snape. He hates Harry. Before they knew of Professor Quirrell, they thought it was Snape. So basically, when Harry's broomstick went all crazy, they thought it was Snape, but it was actually Professor Quirrell. Quirrell, at the beginning of the book, seems really nice, but he's actually not in the end of that book. But I won't spoil any more. Bye, guys.